phenomenal weekly close with a new all-time high. I mean, this one is going up till it's not. I mean, this is don't fight the trend on this one is all I can say. Let's go to the next. Another OSTK, we'll skip that. PASO and Pelaton, another short squeeze special. Let's take a look at PASO. I'm not familiar with PASO. Let's see that one. Whoa. This looks like a pump and dump penny stock. I'm going to skip that one. Pelaton has been, I think it went from 60% float short to what, 5% now? Yeah, the short float on this, I remember tweeting about this when it was at 60%, and now it's at under 5%. The turn has got to be coming soon. Shorts lost their ass on this, and it's kind of funny. Look at my Fibonacci on this one, man. Talk about a move on this. Jeez. Let's get rid of that. I remember talking about 28 and how important 28 was. Once it closed above 28, that it was going to, hold and take off. But then March happened, and so that kind of died right here. But look, once it got back above 28, it's been on this amazing run. Don't mess with Pelaton right now. Wait till there's a sign or signal of a trend change. If you are going to be one of those that likes to short it, I'm sure that the shorts will push it back down eventually. All right, the Fed. All right, great. EVFM. I think this could be like 5 hours of video if I don't speed it up, or I'm at my Chartathon. EVFM. Wow, this thing looks a little erratic. Of course, it's a biotech. Got this crazy gap here, so risk reward is definitely in play. I don't trust plays like this though. Until, well, this one's above the 20 period, not bad. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of risk reward here for sure. Still a little gap down here, I believe. So as long as you know what your risk is, I would say, let's see, the low of this candle here is 287. So that's not too far off from the close. So if you know that maybe you get out of the trade down here if it breaks, but then on the upside you have all this upside here, we'll probably try to challenge 343, 340, something like that. But then you have this gap here. So this will be an interesting one to watch. I'll set an alert for this just to see what happens. It's always good to set alerts anyway. You like to be, how else are we going to know about things when they come off? It's very hard. I miss a lot of plays because I don't chart enough and set enough alerts. That's kind of why I think this exercise and this Chartathon off this tweet is definitely good for me and good for you guys hopefully too. So EVFM, what's next? Mankind, MNKD, I missed WDC. Let's do that one. Okay. Oh, Western Digital. It's been pretty ugly for a long time. These are some old Fibonacci levels. Let's get rid of that. We can always redraw that. Yeah, this one's teetering. I'd be very, very careful. Western Digital. It's just in a pretty bad downtrend. You still have gaps down here. I would stay away from this one. Again, this is another good one to set some alerts on. But the overall trend is definitely down. And it definitely looks like it is going lower, especially if we break the 50. If we close below the 50, did we already close below the 50? Yeah, we did. 42.44. Yep, got to get back over 43.25. Otherwise, we are going lower, probably around this area here. Gonna set an alert. Let's go to the next one. MNKD and apps. Wow, okay. That's an interesting reversal candle at 248. But we caught a little support down here right at the 20. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it looks like a nice little, it could be a little A leg up, B leg down, C leg up. So this is an interesting one to watch. Let's do a alert above 183, is that right? Do 190. And see what happens. Usually on the first alert, let's say it goes off and it hits the first level of resistance, I usually will reset the alert because usually on the first try it gets rejected. and you kind of get trapped in there if you think, I would hit that number, and then if you're doing it during a day trade, that it can really bite you. It hits that number and then just goes back down a lot of the time. So just be careful. You really want that confirmation that it's going to go over that important resistance level. Otherwise, you're just going back down and you're watching it, and you don't want to do that. So it's better to keep setting alerts and being aware. All right, we'll go to the next one. I do want to look at one more chart on this one, though. I don't know how long this one's been around for. Whoa, okay. All right. Well, that's why it's day trading. We're not talking about investing in this. I don't know what they do, but pretty ugly look right here. Except recently. So recently you have this long-term downtrend, and then the short term we have a nice little uptrend. Just be careful. This one's on a tear, APPS. Gaps always stand out to me on the charts. First thing I always notice. Set our alerts for the gap. Close enough. Looks like I had an alert on. I've had alerts on this before. Interesting. Let's go back and see. Was I charting this when it was like 50 cents or something? Let's see. This thing's been on a tear too. But you take a longer term look and you see what happens here. Look at this candle here. Let's take a look closer. The high here is 21.75. Maybe we'll get there on a breakout. See what happens. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, we have Visa, SE, ETM. Let's see, ETM gonna rip. Let's see if he's right. Well, it's not looking so good on the first look. Did we run into the, so we ran into the 50. Did we close above it? 154. 154. That's interesting. You have a long-term downtrend, and you're trying to break out again here. Looks like. So just be careful. But this one's really teetering from what I'm seeing. Take one more look. Yeah, that's a pretty ugly pattern here. You have a bunch of little bear flag patterns in the weekly. Look how it's down, flag, consolidate, low, 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 boom, down, consolidate, low, 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 consolidate, low, low, low. So you got to get out of this ugly stair step, elevator down kind of look here. Let's go to the next. I think we saw Visa on there. Oh wow, alert on last below 133. Unbelievable. Hold on. And the low of this was 133.93. So it looks like I had an alert set at 133 before the crash here, and I missed it by 93 cents. Another example of you want to set them a little higher than your target so you don't miss it. It looks like a mini reversal candle. Could be a little tricky there. I mean, I would definitely set an alert right here. Let's see what happens. You also have the psychological number of 200 to get over. If not, we're going to pull back. This looks like an open gap here. Let's set an alert. This is very repetitive, but this is how it goes. At or below 184. Let's go to the next one. HGEN. Okay, I haven't heard of that one. As far as anything related to COVID, I've been big on NVAX. The HGEN. Nice run on this one, wow. I hope you, whoever posted this, bought it back here. Unbelievable run. Let's see here. $260. And what's the low of this candle? $225. And what's this one? Close at $255. So that's going to be an important area. You might see it come back. These are some pretty ugly candles. I would feel like this would be a good place to set an alert. So watch this one. These are some pretty ugly candles here. Let's look at the daily. Yeah, those are two really ugly closes, even though we're still above all the important moving averages. I would still be very careful with something like this. Mark. Let's take a look at Mark. All right, we're looking at Mark. I think I have like 400 more tickers to go. Who knows? I'll do as many as I possibly can here. This one looking pretty bullish. It's kind of coming down here though on the 20, so I'd be careful that we might revisit the 50 here. I'm not getting there's no volume on this. I'm not a big fan of this one. I'm gonna go to the next one. Okay, so we have ROKU, Plug, and NIO. NIO is an interesting one. Let's go to ROKU, which is completely erratic. Okay, so this is ROKU. There's a reason I have all these insane numbers here that they really have followed a pretty good script, but I am going to get rid of the Fibonacci. Okay, a little cleaner now. Looks like I have had a lot of alerts set here that just have not made it yet. 130 has always been important. This is a weekly chart, but once we got to 130 here, we go up, we come down on 130, we break 130. We're at 130 again. If we can close a week above 130, there's no reason this can't start to make a run to 150. ROKU is looking pretty good right here. If you look at it from this perspective, you have a nice bull flag pattern developing here, nice consolidation, but you're still in a kind of a downtrend here. So again, this is like really teetering. I always be careful with ROKU. All right, Plug definitely looks like a short squeeze. I mean, this is an unbelievable run. Let's take a look further back. Wow. Another one of these straight up in the air ones that's going to come down hard. Yeah, it's tough to look at charts like that. So you have a lot of gaps, a lot of volume started to pick up here. Gonna have to look at this one up later to see what's driving this other than the squeeze. I do want to see what the float short is on this one. I keep saying float short, short float, float short. The point is what's the percentage of shares that are shorted right now, and it's still pretty high. I'd like to see what it was before. I think right now it's about 23%. That said, I guess there's no reason it can't keep squeezing then. That's a pretty ugly reversal candle, but so was this, and look what happened. So when you're in the middle of a short squeeze and there's panic buying happening, anything can happen. Just be aware of this gap here, because if it does come back down, it's going to fill that gap. And NIO. Look at the insanity on NIO. Now, after hours, it also on Friday, I believe it went up to about 985, 984, which was resistance. Check this out. We gotta go back further. It's been a while since NIO's been this high. There it is. There's that gap. Check this out. So we have a high of 872, which we usually passed. We have a close. Here it is. The open was 980. That's the gap that got filled after hours. So technically it's not necessarily filled, so it still could fill. I would be very careful about resistance up here at 1060, somewhere in the 9s. I think everyone's going to jump back on this, and the shorts are going to have their way with them, even though the shorts have been clobbered lately. That is a monster gap, but that is extremely bullish. right now. So I see why somebody would pick this. It could continue to squeeze easily.